This is a journey to $1 million in public. Either I'll make it and I'll be very rich, or I'll fail right in front of you and you can point your fingers at me and say, what a failure, and I will then possibly cry, maybe. So don't do that. We ended the week at $250,000, a 250K milestone. And this week, some really interesting things happened, each of which I will detail. Did we get closer? Did we go further away? Let's find out. And as always, if you're only interested in the updated numbers, I'll leave a link in the description so you can just check out the final update. If you don't care about how to actually make money, what I did to add to this goal, so you can do that yourself. If you don't care about any of that, that is fine. I understand. You're probably a busy person. You can skip ahead. But that will make me really sad. Now, for the real ones that stayed, the first positive thing that happened is that I got paid $200 for doing nothing. Actually, I got paid nearly 250 Canadian dollars in 30 minutes of work for yapping. I know it sounds too good to be true, but here's the proof. I actually redeemed this through a gift card. This magical thing, the holy grail for making money online, is called user research. I've used this to make thousands of dollars before, and I'm going to continue using this because it is extremely effective. What is user research? It's simply a process whereby companies want your feedback and your opinions to make their products better. Think of it this way. There's fashion companies out there that need to sell clothes. If you are a fashionista, if you like clothes, they need your opinion because you are their target audience. By giving you some money, a reward for giving them feedback, they can end up selling hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars more. These businesses reach out to user research companies, three of which I like a lot: User Testing, User Interviews, and Prolific. These three companies are legit. All you need is an email to sign up, after which you can give them some information about yourself, like your age, your occupation, what area you live in, what devices you have access to, what areas interest you, and then you'll get access to a bunch of surveys. These surveys can range from $4 all the way up to $250. Yes, I have done surveys that have paid me more than $300 even. But here's the catch. Most of these longer surveys require you to actually meet with a researcher and give your opinion. Don't worry, this is not a job interview. They're not trying to test your skills. They're simply trying to get some feedback to improve their products or services. For example, this survey that is aimed at developers, or this survey that is aimed at people that travel a lot. But it's okay if you don't want to go on Zoom and meet another person. You can do these $10 surveys on usertesting.com that take around 15 minutes to complete, giving you an hourly rate of $30 per hour, which is higher than a lot of manual labor jobs. If you don't even want to do that, you can still go on Prolific and do these surveys that pay anywhere from 1 to 10 to 15 pounds for simply filling out some information. There's layers to this. The only thing is to get started. I leave links in the description for you to sign up so you can start your user research journey as well. I'll reiterate this. I have made thousands of dollars doing this, thousands of dollars that are certified, that I've withdrawn through PayPal and used to buy things. You can work from home, do yourself a favor, and get started. And this week, I added this $300 to my investments to grow closer to this $1 million milestone. The second good thing that happened is my online business made me some money as well. And no, this is not some complicated business that I need to go and spend thousands of dollars on. I actually got started for free. And I'm talking about Fiverr.com or freelancing in general. Freelancing is extremely saturated and there's a lot of people trying to scam you on what is the right way to make money doing this. They're selling courses, they're selling all sorts of things. But I'm going to give you 3 steps that I've used to make over $4,000 using freelancing in the past year. This is coming from an average guy, not someone with any extraordinary capabilities, unfortunately, but that is why I'm doing this, to showcase realistic ways to make money. The first step, and the most important step, is getting started. I do this in every video, and I'll do this for this video as well. I'm gonna leave some links in the description, one of which is Upwork.com's most beginner-friendly freelancing skills. This is not me saying this, this is Upwork.com. They have a lot of data, and they've come up with the most easy jobs for you to get started on. Once you have that skill that you like, it could be writing, it could be programming, it could be SEO, there's so many out there, just pick one, just niche down, and set up an account. You have nothing to lose. Once you set up an account, you can post your service and just let it be. You don't need to worry about getting orders at this stage. Just post your gig, and to make it easy for you, you can just copy or take whatever some successful people are doing in that niche and make it yours. There's literally no pressure to succeed. There's no pressure to do well. It is just posting one service and pressing done. That's it. And then you sit back. The second step, and the most important step, is pricing low. I'll use myself as an example. I used to price my services at $5 per hour, but the value I was bringing was way more than that. Why did I get clients? Is because clients could justify spending $5 on a random. If you think about it, there's people that are selling on Fiverr.com, on Upwork.com, on freelancing websites since years. They have thousands of clients, thousands of happy clients, and hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews. Why would I, as a customer, come to you who just started if you price at the same price as someone with a million reviews? That's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. And how you make yourself competitive in this market is by pricing low. That is exactly what I did and how I got my first dozens of clients. Now that I have this social proof, I can jack up the price a bit and almost go up to market price. I still charge pretty low because I don't have that social proof yet that some of these other freelancers do. But I know I have enough proof to charge $40, $45, $50 an hour, and sometimes even $60 an hour. If you follow the first two things but don't follow the third one, you might fail because the third one is the most important, and that is staying patient. Patience is a virtue. I think that is a saying, and I agree. The first few months, you're not going to get a lot of impressions, a lot of clients, because you are a new freelancer. The algorithm is just figuring you out. But if you consistently put out good work, get good reviews, you're going to be at a point where you're able to charge for your services and make decent money doing this. There's been months I've made over $1,000 doing this. Other months I've made multiple of hundreds of dollars. Every single penny matters because I can take this and contribute it to my investments and watch them grow further. Get started. You'll not regret it. Just stay patient. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll respond. I'm not going to charge you anything. I think this sort of information should be free on the internet. So those were the positives that happened, some things that I'm really proud of, but my investments actually went down this month, and I want to cover that. We ended last week at 250K. Now we are down to nearly 249,000, almost losing $1,000. Am I scared? Am I losing my mind? Not really. And here's why. First of all, let's look at the monthly chart. I'm still up $5,000 for the month. Let's look at the year-to-date returns, which is at $31,000. And let's look at the one-year chart, which is at $38,000. This portfolio is doing well for the short run, and I'm not concerned for the long run as well. Let's look at the returns of the S&P 500 annualized for the last 40 years. This chart is my favorite chart because it details that the markets can go up and down, but if you hold for the long run, you will see success. The S&P 500 is the gold standard for indices in the United States of America. 500 companies, 500 of the biggest companies in the country, the leading economy in the world that is leading the next revolution in AI as well. And so I bought more. I bought more shares in the S&P 500 at these prices because I think this compounding effect is going to get stronger as time goes on. What other asset class can claim generating value, societal value, at the same time as generating jobs as well? Nothing, in my opinion, to the extent of the stock market and businesses, commerce in general. I also bought more of the Canadian TSX 60 through this ETF VDY. This tracks the 60 biggest companies pretty much in Canada, and it also pays a nice juicy dividend yield at 4%. So I'm getting this nice stock growth, and at the same time, I'm getting dividends just for holding on to the stock. I also bought the NASDAQ 100, the 100 biggest companies in America, along with some leverage ETFs like QQQL and USSL. These are ETFs that track the S&P 500, track the NASDAQ 100, but add a tiny bit of leverage to magnify the returns. Let's say if the S&P 500 goes up 10%, this 25% leverage ETF is going to go up by roughly 12.5%. I'm young enough to take on this risk and invest in the market, and also this one thing keeps me going, and that is dividends. This portfolio now pays me more than $600 every single month for doing nothing. This is amazing. I don't have to invest a single penny more in this portfolio. If I can keep on even reinvesting these amounts, I will come to a godly number 25, 30 years down the line when I finally retire. That is power of compounding. That is power of getting started. Just search ETF investing, stock market investing, plus the name of your country, and you can also make these $600 a month if you stay consistent and keep on investing, keep on saving your money and watching it grow in the market. If you're too concerned about being too growth focused, you can also invest in covered call ETFs. I invest around 12% of my money in these ETFs because they have a juicy yield. Most of my covered call ETFs pay me more than 10%, which means I get $10 back out of every $100 invested. These ETFs like HYLD, HDIV, QQCL are slightly complicated to understand, but essentially they sacrifice some long-term potential growth to write call options on the underlying holdings and give you income now. The long-term performance is going to lag the market, so if you're looking for something that's completely growth focused and it's going to result in the highest value, you should invest in growth focused assets. But for me personally, these dividends are a huge motivating factor to keep on investing. I couldn't find any tangible research because I don't think there's been any research done on the motivation factor of dividends, but I can tell you for a fact that it works for me. In 2022 and parts of 2023, when the market wasn't doing so well, I kept on investing in the stock market because my monthly dividend income kept going up. The same ETFs that used to pay me $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 now pay me hundreds of dollars and soon would pay me $200 each. That is incredible when you think about it. And although I don't have any tangible proof, any tangible research that can certify the claim, I can tell you it's worked for me, and if it works for you, don't be afraid to take a slight percentage of your portfolio and invest it in these assets. Investing alone is not going to be enough, and that is why I did probably the riskiest thing I've done so far, and that is start a new business. I know my freelancing business requires no upfront capital and is an easier entry for most people, but if you do have some capital lying around, it might be good to explore other business opportunities with your friends, with your family, or other trusted third parties. That is exactly what I did when I opened up my business supplying food to the Middle East. The Middle East has a lot of people and a lot of livestock, and countries like the UAE, countries like Qatar, they are extremely rich. The only problem is they don't have fertile land to grow enough food, particularly for animals, for horses, for camels, and other large livestock. That is where my business comes in. I've invested in a business that supplies food to the Middle East from other fertile regions, and I get a percentage for my efforts. The profit margin is good. It's around 30% per year. I've gotten paid around 10% so far. And this month as well, I got paid around $150 simply for supplying capital to this business. I'm going to take this $150 and buy ETFs, buy stocks with it, or just simply reinvest it again. I've done some research, and wefunder.com is the site that I've come across that is the most widely used. And this is the best part. Most of these businesses do not require a lot of money to get started. For example, this business requires less than $500 and this business requires less than $300. Keep in mind, a disclaimer again, businesses are risky. You might lose all of your money, or you might make a lot of money down the line. That is just the risk that entrepreneurs take. And if you attach yourself to them, you also get that risk. If you want to make more than that 10% return the stock market can give you, this risk is inherent, but no risk, no reward. And we need to get to this $1 million milestone, which is why I decided to start this. Hopefully it goes well. Let's see. I might lose a few $1,000s, but that is not the point. That is not the point. So what is the final number? And welcome back to people who skipped the entire video. We are now at $249,000, down from last week, but I did invest money into a business, some capital. So let me know if you think I should include that. And if I do, we are at $255,500 or something. But let's say for this video, I'm not going to count that, and we are at $249,000. We are down, but that is okay. That is the process of building wealth. Some weeks you're going to see this fluctuation, and that is fine. The good thing is I paid off all my debt, and I'm continuing to buy assets and start businesses and take on calculated risk, everything that I've detailed in this video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to subscribe and smash the like button. I do this every single week. I detail exactly what I did to make money, how you can grow your wealth as well, and hopefully help you avoid scams from these online gurus who make you think wealth building is extremely easy. It's not, but I'm here to detail exactly how you can build wealth as well. I'll see you next week.